Good evening and welcome. It's Sunday, July 26th, 2026, and you are watching Last Week Today. We're a compilation of the most important stories of the week from both legacy and new media. And my name's Chuck Black. My partner in crime is Richard Gagnon. And Richard, how's it going?
Not too bad. It looks like we're on my Facebook now.
That's good. You were... We were, your Facebook banned us for a little while there, so it's nice to know we're back on it, I think.
It banned me completely from doing live streams.
Congratulations. You can do live streams, but only if you hang around with me.
Well, no, actually, I think I was doing it on Friday also.
That's good. Maybe there's some justice in the world. Maybe you're no longer banned.
Maybe they finally realize that I'm important and my stories have to get out there.
I know. I feel you're important.
Yeah.
And I know your audience feels you're important.
Well, of course. Yeah. Go figure. Huh?
But I do think it's good that we're slowly regaining our access to social media.
Yeah.
We're still being shadow banned, right? We're still not getting the audience that we used to get in 2017, 2018, 2019.
No.
But we are slowly going back.
Well, it's showing that I've got 5 viewers on Facebook.
That's good. I got viewers on YouTube tonight too, so I have no idea how that's working out, but it looks like we have an audience.
Yeah.
And we've got three thumbs up so far.
All right.
That's not coming from YouTube. I think that's coming from your Facebook peeps.
It could very well be.
Let's not disappoint them. Shall we go on to our first story?
Let's go.
Our first story tonight is all about Bill C-9, which is now the law, and as outlined in the July 25th, 2026 Freedom Forum post under the title, Bill C-9, the Combating Hate Act is now the law and is being enforced. Now, that post notes that the Liberal government legislation covering hate propaganda, hate crime, and hatred in general is now the law across Canada. It received royal assent on June 18th, and key provisions came into force on July 18th as well. It's being enforced. Now, Bill C-9 amended the criminal code in a number of important ways. First off, it creates offenses for intimidating or obstruction of access to places of worship, schools, community centers, and other specified places primarily used by an identifiable group. It also establishes a standalone hate crime offense for crimes motivated by hatred. And the government can say almost any crime is motivated by hatred. A robber could be a robber because his parents wouldn't give him a little red wagon when he was a kid. But that is a crime motivated by hatred. Anything could be a hate crime nowadays. It also adds a hate propaganda offense for willfully promoting hatred against an identifiable group by displaying certain hate or terrorist symbols in the public place, online or on signs or anything like that. The only examples I could find of that portion of the legislation were Nazi swastikas. So we're not going to bring them on here or we'll get arrested. It also makes related changes, including adjustments to existing hate propaganda provisions, things such as removal of the religious expression defense in most contexts, not just some contexts, and it does a couple of other things. So it's changed the law quite substantially. Now, others, including this group, the July 23rd Wall Street Apps on X post, under the title, Liberals in Canada Just Ended Free Speech. These guys argue that free speech is at an end because of the new legislation. Now, the post references the July 19th, 2026 Max Genist on X post. Canada's vile hate law just took effect today. And we're going to play that little 4-minute segment so you can hear what Max said. Here we go.
Today, Canada's infamous hate crime law, Bill C-9, is officially in effect. So what does this mean? What is going to happen? Let's go over the bill. Funnily enough, the only part that is very clear is where it states that if you commit hatred against people based on race, national or ethnic origin, language, color, religion, sex, age, mental or physical disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity, you can be jailed or fined. From there on out, it gets extremely vague. And they did it on purpose. Like, how do they define hate? They say it means expressing vilification and detestation. That tells us nothing. Those words are just synonymous for hate. So the definition is useless. Now, this is the really scary part. They're not clear about where this applies. Real life, online, it's basically both. They target what they call religious or cultural public places without defining what that even means. And because everything is posted online, they don't need to charge you retroactively. They can charge you reactively because your posts are still up. When you read the bill, it looks like a Redditor wrote it. They include a whole section on going after people who display symbols of listed entities, then launch into their crusade against Nazis. They mention no other symbols, just those tied to a defunct political party from 80 years ago. This is so obviously the government going after right-wingers to silence and prosecute them. And as someone who does political commentary online, I speak very negatively about mass migration and multiculturalism. I'm a nationalist. I'm a remigrationist. I openly call for people who are not Canadian to be deported back to their homelands. But I'm going to keep posting. I'm not going to stop talking. I'm not going to lock down my account. I'm not going to delete any of my content. And if I go to jail, so be it. This entire bill is the government getting cocky. They're in way over their heads. I say, try it. Actually do it. Jail me, jail others like me. See how that's gonna go for you. Run mass political prosecutions over no words. I dare Justice Minister Sean Fraser to do it. History is not on your side here. How do you think Mao Zedong, Vladimir Lenin, Pol Pot, Benito Mussolini, Fidel Castro, or Adolf Hitler got into power? Every single one of these men rose during periods of severe economic hardship, political instability, war, or social unrest. So keep pushing these prosecutions and you will hand power to Canadian nationalists. We will politicize every single one of them because as far as I'm concerned, they're paving the way for us into power. We are going to take back what is ours. We are going to implement remigration. We are going to send millions home. We are going to secure the future for our descendants. We are going to honor our ancestors and forefathers. Nothing will stop us. Nothing will get in our way. Long live Canada.
All right, so what are the actual...
Now, with respect to Max, enforcement of the legislation has begun. For example, on July 23rd, Toronto police stopped a digital billboard truck operated by the Toronto, Ontario-based who else? Rebel News. The truck was displaying a paid advertisement from the Canadian Women's Sex-Based Rights Network. And that poster featured a call to remove biological males from women's sports, along with demands to ensure safety, privacy, and fairness for women and girls in sports. Pretty harmless, or at least pretty useful, pretty sensible. However, officers reviewed the content on site, determined that it was political expression rather than a criminal offense under the new provisions, and released the vehicle with no charges or further enforcement actions. This is according to the July 24th X-Post, Toronto Police Review Rebel News billboards on women's sports but take no action. The police were called to this by an anonymous phone call from somebody explaining that they felt triggered and fearful because of the billboard. So the Toronto police are taking a look at this. They are reacting to the legislation. Now, it's also worth noting the July 21st Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms X-Post. There it is right there. Under the title, "We are receiving reports that some Canadians are being contacted at their homes by government officials about social media posts made months or even years ago." Now, JCCF noted that they've been receiving accounts of government officials contacting Canadians about the legislation. These accounts were so far anecdotal. There were no publicly verified details on the specific authority involved or whether they relate to new C9 offenses or old stuff that's been on the web for 5 or 10 or 15 years. And the government is investigating to maybe take them offline. Now, while Canadian criminal law is generally not retroactive to new offenses, Max, just a moment ago, Max Jennis noted that the law might indeed cover old posts that have not been removed from social media channels after July 18th, when the provisions of the new legislation came into force. Richard, I know I haven't removed anything we've said over the last 4 years or so. How about yourself? Are you pulling anything off?
Oh, heck no. No way.
You believe what's your logic to this?
I said what I meant, and I meant what I said.
I agree with that. This is freedom of speech.
Exactly.
I have no idea what makes people fearful. But I remember a long time ago in a galaxy far away when we were brought up to believe that while sticks and stones may hurt our bones, names will never hurt us.
Now remember, this hate speech stuff is based on various things like color, skin, religious beliefs, and things like that.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, I think that all AMABs, white AMABs, should be deported.
Yeah. Well, they're going to come and get you for that. I believe that people who come into the country illegally should be sent back to where they come from. They are the criminals, not me.
But I said it's white. It's not racial.
Yeah.
All white. So, well, it is racial. It means me.
No, I agree 100%. I also remember John F. Kennedy, who said that any society which makes, I'm paraphrasing here, any society that makes civil discourse impossible makes violent retribution inevitable.
Yep.
And I think that forcing us not to talk about our problems is the best way possible to, one, dumb us down, and two, incite violent revolution to right the wrongs.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing it intentionally or unintentionally. Actually, I misspoke just a moment ago. You and I both think that this is being done reasonably intentionally to destroy our current civilization.
That's right. Yep. And that's what WEF wants.
World Economic Forum, no longer Klaus Schwab, but now what's his name? The head of BlackRock, Fink.
Yeah.
And he wants to turn us into serfs. He wants to turn us into slaves.
They want to control. They want control over every man and woman, but they can't, because man and woman is not under their control.
And we're smarter than he is. We're smarter than they are.
We're not. They're only going after the slaves,
the
males and the females, not the man and woman. Man and woman is completely out of their jurisdiction, and they know that.
I would sort of argue that they're going after pretty much everything that's out of their jurisdiction, though.
Oh yeah, they're trying to.
I don't think they'll succeed, because in the final analysis, there's only a few of them and lots of us.
Let me make this perfectly clear, WEF and BlackRock. I hate you. Come after me. Come and put a bullet through my head. I dare you.
You and Max Jennings should get together. You both have strong opinions. Honestly, I agree with them, but I'm a little more subtle in my my presentation.
Well, we need to have that balance, right?
Yeah, we do. Shall we go on to our next piece?
Sure, why not?
Only so much we can do here to vent. Also in the news this week, there's my favorite graphic. Now, as outlined in the July 20th White House post from the United States under the title, Fact Sheet, President Donald J. Trump imposes additional tariffs on Canada. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed proclamations under Section 338 of the Tariff Act of 1930, which impose additional 50% tariffs on numerous Canadian imports, including things like autos, auto parts, alcohol, wine, dairy, and cheese products, hockey sticks of all things, Canadian cement, and a lot of other items as well. Trump cites discriminatory Canadian treatment of U.S. products, declining U.S. auto sales. I think he even references Doug Ford being an idiot, not allowing the U.S. to sell alcohol at LCBOs, and a lot of restrictive quotas. Now, the tariffs are supposed to take effect in 30 days from, I believe, July 20th, and apply regardless of whether or not they're covered by the existing Canada, US, Mexico trade agreement, the CUSMA, although energy, potash, fish, critical minerals, and certain other goods are definitely excluded, at least this week. Now, since then, as outlined in the July 24th CBC News post, Trump vows tariffs to come for Canada over wildlife smoke that has drifted to the U.S. The U.S. president has stated twice over the last week his intent to impose tariffs on Canada in retaliation for wildfire smoke drifting across the border into the United States. And he intends to impose those tariffs sometime within the next 30 days as well. Now, of course, Canada isn't the only country subject to new U.S. tariffs. As outlined in the July 23rd CTV News post, citing forced labor, Trump hits Canada and dozens of countries with new tariffs. It's pretty obvious from the title. The U.S. president has also targeted dozens of other countries, including Mexico and the United Kingdom. Now, as for us, Prime Minister Mark Carney has responded to the threats by vowing to fight, protect, and build, whatever the heck that might mean. Now, the July 25th Associated Press post under the title, Prime Minister Carney says Canada ready to respond if Trump's new tariffs go into effect. That story notes that Trump's latest 10% tariffs on Canadian imports aren't waiting 30 days. They went into effect yesterday, and more are scheduled beginning August 19th if a proper deal isn't reached. Now, for more on the current trade war, here's a quick little video. It's the July 25th WION on YouTube post. I think that's a PBS station in the States. The title of the video is Canada-U.S. Trade War Escalates as Gordie Howe Bridge opens without U.S. officials. Here we go.
Canada has officially opened Gordie Howe International Bridge, linking Windsor in Ontario and Detroit in Michigan. But the inauguration was marked without any U.S. officials being present. Mark Carney's government scrapped a plan to hold a joint ceremony with the U.S. dignitaries to cut the ribbon, followed by the latest American threats to impose a new set of tariffs on Canadian goods. Canadian officials attended the ceremony along with members of the hockey legend Gordie Howe's family. However, the celebration was marked in the Canadian side and guests were not allowed to cross to the US side of the bridge. Now, Ontario's Premier Doug Ford said that the bridge shows what Canada and the United States can achieve by working together. But he also said that Canada's relationship with the United States has become much more difficult because of President Donald Trump's tariffs.
Our relationship has been challenged over the last few years, and President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month, but Team Canada has never been more united.
Now, the bridge will open to traffic on the 27th of July. The construction of the bridge began in 2018 and it was fully funded by Canada. The bridge is expected to provide a much faster alternative to the Ambassador Bridge and will boost trade and tourism. Canadian officials say that the Windsor-Detroit corridor handles about 274 million Canadian dollars worth of trade every day. And the opening of the bridge comes as trade tensions continue to grow between the two nations. Now, Trump reacted to the ceremony via a Truth Social post and said that it is fine to not invite the U.S. officials as Canada will be paying higher tariffs. And he also added that the deal of the bridge was poorly negotiated by the previous government, which has been fixed as the United States will receive 50% of the profit. And earlier this week, Trump threatened to impose new tariffs of up to 50% on Canadian goods.
What do you think? More tariffs, more kabuki theater. What do you think?
That's all it is. Yeah, it just Trump is just putting more tariffs in. It's an easy thing for him to talk about. He doesn't have to go through any major bills or anything like that to create regulations and stuff. He just basically says we're going to put tariffs on. They never happen. The tariffs never happen.
Yeah. I can't help but note that Trump's previous tariffs went all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court shot them down. So Trump's latest set of tariffs are under a different section of the Tariff Act.
Yep.
So now it's got to go all the way up to the Supreme Court again.
Yep, and that's the trick down in the system. You just keep them in the legal system.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to. They're busy doing all that crap, spending money with lawyers and filing the motions and everything else. And it never happens because of the fact it takes too long for those things to take place.
What do you think is the real reason for the Kabuki Theater? It's obviously distracting us from something else.
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, Trump is trying to build up as much distraction as he can before the November elections here.
So so the Republicans will stay in power.
Well, he needs to rebuild more of the Republican base. Yeah, they're in power right now, but it sounds like they might have lost some. I don't know.
There's some worry about the Republicans. They're going one way, and I also think there's some worry about Trump. He promised no new wars, and we've talked about this before. He seems to be going in a different area. He seems to be engaging in a new war 6 months into it, near as I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, he's doing more tariffs. It's not a big deal. Even though the Supreme Court said he couldn't do certain things, well, okay, fine. He's just doing other things.
He's working under a different section of the Tariff Act, is my understanding. So if they want to stop him from issuing tariffs to other countries, now they gotta run it all the way through the Supreme Court from scratch again.
Exactly, and of course that takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Look at how long it took him to get that through there. I
agree. I don't totally know what's going on, but this is the biggest story in Canadian news this week. I don't know why anybody's dug a little deeper into it.
And actually, world news, because a lot of countries are getting hit by these new tariffs. Now they got to figure out, okay, well, let's hire the lawyers. Let's spend more money on lawyers, and they'll all get together and they'll all bypass everything that's being done right now.
I agree. Maybe it's all to protect the lawyers.
Well, I got to keep food on their table.
Yeah, good point. We don't want to have lawyers starving in the streets.
No, that would be terrible.
And it's okay for you and I to starve in the streets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll get down to that a little later. Do you want to go on to our next piece?
Okay.
Here we go. This is something in your neighborhood. Wildfires in British Columbia have evidently forced hundreds of evacuations and highway closures, according to the July 21st CBC News post under the title, "What else? Hundreds in BC under evacuation order as wildfire activity heats up," according to officials. Now, according to the Legacy News, multiple out-of-control wildfires, they estimate anywhere between 80 to 100, are active as of the end of last week, including places like Brunswick Creek, Ainsley Creek, near Boston Bar, near Fraser Canyon, Pearl Lake near Clinton, and a whole bunch of complex fires near Kimberley, which seems to have triggered evacuation order for 600 properties and a bunch of alerts for almost 6,000 more on top of that. So 6,000 people are waiting to see if they have to be evacuated this week. Now, the July 24th CBC post, wildfires near Boston Bar, BC merge as district says some residents still refusing to evacuate. Now, that story indicates that at least some residents are refusing to leave their homes, probably in an attempt to protect their land and properties. The firefighters fly in under central control from governments and do whatever the governments tell them. The residents want to make sure at least someone is out there protecting their homes. And last week we covered Toronto, and even now in Toronto, the situation evidently remains tense, according to legacy media. Now, the July 22nd Canadian Press News Post, under the title "More than 170 Wildfires Burning in Ontario's North." This notes substantial overlap between Ontario fires and areas tied to Ring of Fire mining claims, particularly around key First Nation communities involved in or opposing the mining projects. Now, these fires include fires around Nekantaga First Nations. This First Nation is strongly opposed to Ring of Fire development and has traditional territory overlapping numerous mining claims and proposed roads into other mining claims. There's also the Webasque First Nations, which has roads under construction or advancing towards the mineral zone. Now, near as I can tell, there are no public reports indicating fires directly burning at active mine sites, exploration camps, or anything like that. However, there are lots of fires burning on native land near Northern Territories with dense mining claims and proposed infrastructure projects designed to support these mines. I give up, Richard. What does that remind you of?
Oh, a few years back, the Hawaii fires and all that stuff too. That's
I would say the Hawaii fires. Yes, absolutely.
yeah, they're just basically trying to put fear in the population.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those fires can be very easily controlled, but the government doesn't move in the right direction. They just basically say, "Oh, we're going to do it our way." Okay, do it your way if you want.
They've been sold a bill of goods. They've been told that the computers will predict where the mines go next.
Yes, exactly.
And the locals who know the lay of the land and who understand how things flow through the communities, they're essentially being locked out of the process.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's intentional or unintentional. Actually, just like our previous post, I sort of think it is intentional. It's the centralization of governments. It's making us all stupid and far dumber than we need to be. And it's built to ravage our local community infrastructures and make us heavily dependent on government handouts.
Yeah, and what's interesting is we had a community meeting where the fire group came by, and of course they had whenever we come over, say you got to get out of there. Well, get out of there because you're going to be in our way. Well, no, we're not going to be in your way. We're going to be helping you fight the fire. Damn it!
No, according to most provincial governments, the locals aren't supposed to fight the fires.
No, they're not supposed to at all. And of course, the RCMP don't want you in there either because now they got jurisdiction over your home. And they can go inside there and check for guns and explosive and dangerous things.
They can take out anything they want, and they need never give you back your land, especially if there's an important mining claim that has to go through.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're seeing that everywhere.
In a lot of places. That happened in I believe it was an area around Lethbridge last year, wasn't it?
It could have been, yeah.
It was a ski community that was mostly razed to the ground. You're right, Lahaina was a big thing. That was a thing that brought it to the attention of many people 3-4 years ago. What's her name? Oprah came in and bought a big swath of the burned down land. That's where she wanted to put her secret compound.
Yeah, and of course everybody was putting up blue tin roofs.
That's to protect us from the laser beams. And near as I can tell, the laser beams are getting more and more sane and sensible and reproducible, recognizable, accurate. It's just one of those conspiracy theories that takes a couple months to come true.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know what it is. It's a strange world. Any more comments before we go on to the next piece?
Oh, let's carry on.
Carry on. This one is a strange one. I'm not totally sure what to make of it. My apologies. But it seems like massive U.S. bomber formations, fighter formations, airplanes of all sorts, continuous surveillance flights, and heavy air movements are now saturating the skies near Iran in preparation for what might be the opening chapter of the biggest geopolitical financial war of our lifetime. Or maybe it's something else. Maybe the war represents something else entirely. Right now, no one is really sure. And for the latest, it's worth looking at the July 24th Bloomberg on YouTube post. Latest details on Iran war, new indications of a U.S. military buildup. Here we go.
CBS News has learned the U.S. military is surging dozens of medics to an American military hospital in Germany. That's where service members injured in the conflict with Iran are being sent to be treated.
Now, this development comes with other new indications of a U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, as CBS's Natalie Brand reports.
In a sign the conflict with Iran is expanding to the Red Sea, Iranian-backed Houthis claimed responsibility for an attack on Saudi oil tankers there.
The Houthis, frankly, got snookered into this thing by the Iranians.
President Trump warned if the Houthis strike again, the U.S. will inflict a major military punishment against Iran and its Houthi allies.
We can't let them have what they want, which is nuclear weapons.
The U.S. is also sending more military equipment to the region, including aerial refuelers that CBS News has confirmed have been deployed to places like Israel. Flight trackers have also shown B-1 bombers leaving bases in the U.K.
The concurrent resolution is adopted.
On Capitol Hill, the House voted to direct the president to end the war, while a similar measure failed in the Senate.
We have never been closer to world conflagration involving our sons and daughters in harm's way.
Some lawmakers are also questioning the administration's newly announced civilian nuclear energy deal between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia.
I'm very concerned that it changes the climate in the Middle East, which could cause a nuclear arms race.
The president posted on social media this morning the deal will involve only non-military use, no enrichment. And he said the agreement would be subject to Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords to normalize relations with Israel.
We'll continue to talk with our Saudi counterparts to get the deal finalized and hopefully see them joining the Abraham Accords very soon.
The Saudi Crown Prince has previously said that would depend on a roadmap to a Palestinian state. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Comments?
Yeah, well, they're trying hard. Of course, what I can't understand is how come they have to send more and more planes out there. They're not being shot down, so they can't be replacing the ones that are being shot down.
I don't know. My sense is that they're going on a big bombing run after some of the deepest Iranian bunkers.
Oh, that could be too. Yeah, yeah. They wanted this. They have to get rid of these Iranian military.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I also think it's worth noting something we've talked about in the past. There is still the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, which Freedom Forum covered last week, and I believe we covered it the week before. Mostly we covered it because of Section 219, which seems to allow Israel to integrate its military into the U.S. military and essentially take it over. Now, the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act is formally the annual defense budget, and it was approved by Congress this week on July 22nd, even with Section 219 in it. But it faces an uncertain Senate ratification path, according to the July 21st Al Jazeera post. U.S. House passes $1.15 trillion military bill expanding Israel cooperation. Now, Al Jazeera also notes the growing concerns over Section 219 in its May 30th, 2026 post, U.S. Israeli military integration plan. So everybody knows about Section 219 by now. And according to the October 25th Jerusalem Post story, under the title, Netanyahu stresses Trump does not control him or dictate Israel's security policy. Jerusalem Post says that there are no verified public claims by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu or his close associates of their ability to control U.S. foreign policy. However, I would argue that Netanyahu and a whole bunch of other Israeli officials have publicly acknowledged that they are pursuing efforts to influence and shape U.S. positions on shared interest, especially the Iranian war. And they say this is standard alliance diplomacy. Now, according to the July 23rd Axios post, exclusive, Trump close to decision on massive attack on Iran. The planes are going to Iran because U.S. President Donald Trump has seriously considered restarting major combat operations in Iran. And this includes strikes that could be bigger than the ones carried out during Operation Epic Fury. Now, this is according to Axios. Trump has been leaking a whole bunch of exclusives to Axios over the last month or so. I also note that by the time July 25th rolled around, Axios had got another scoop. The July 25th Axios post, Trump ordered military not to conduct strikes in Iran Friday. And that story says that the U.S. had changed his mind again. Last thing I noted before we went to broadcast about an hour ago was the July 25th, 2026 warning from the U.S. government earlier today that you shouldn't travel in the Middle East. That's normally an indicator that someone's going to get bombed next week. Richard, sorry about the diatribe. There's a lot of parts to this puzzle. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what they do. They warn you. So you don't travel to those areas. They're going to be bombing. They're going to be blowing planes out of the sky. They're going to be doing all sorts of things.
The planes are collecting. I'm going to check right now. I'm going to see if there's any news on Iran. It looks like the best I can find on Google right now is a whole bunch of stories like this about U.S. strikes on hold as talks battle for Straits of Hormuz control loom. Another story from the BBC. Trump paused attacks on Iran to make space for talks. And an Al Jazeera post, Iran war updates. Trump denies U.S. musicians low post AI images of attacks. So everybody is bluffing right now, near as I can tell.
Yeah.
I don't know, Rick. What do you think?
That's exactly. It's just a game that they're playing. People are going to say, well, people are going to die. Yeah, of course people are going to die. Well, get the hell out of the area.
I'd assume that I think Trump has declared peace or threatened to bomb Iran into the ground maybe 100 times since February.
Well, the problem is, as I mentioned in the past, Iran many years ago set up 6 or 7 different military groups, all with their own mandates. Should the government fail, that they would be activated and start doing things based on the plans that they were given back then.
You're saying that the U.S. and Western nations are full of sleeper cells that will be activated if the government collapses.
No, the Iranian sleeper cells inside of Iran. Inside of Iran, they're going to start to basically activate those military cells that they've got in there ready to go. They're not necessarily around the world. They're just basically in Iran.
So the end game isn't here yet.
No.
Near as I can tell, the United States emergency stockpiles of oil are going to run out in 2 weeks, maybe a week.
Well, that's what everybody's starting to talk about, but I don't think that's going to happen.
How come?
They've got a lot. They've got a lot of oil on the ground there that they've stockpiled. It's just that you want to create a story that's going to put people basically on edge.
How about that's fair? I always thought that the war has been going on for 6 months. There must be ways to bypass the Straits of Hormuz by this time.
Yeah.
Go out through the Straits of Gibraltar, maybe.
Yeah.
Use a new pipeline. There's got to be so much of what's in the legacy media these days is posturing stuff that we can't verify or identify.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I don't know where it's going to go, but I worry. I think we're close to at least a limited nuclear war.
Yep, but it turns out with all the stories I've been doing about nuclear is not dangerous to you.
Maybe not. You have some interesting opinions about nuclear weapons and nuclear war that one day I'd like to go into in a little more detail here, but you have some interesting ideas.
Matt from Cultivate Elevate has been talking about it more and more.
Oh, wow.
And he's because he drinks out of radium glasses and stuff like that. He drinks radium water.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really wrong with nuclear. I suppose if you've got very high power radiation that's occurring, then maybe it's an issue. But for the most part, nuclear is not going to kill you.
I hope not. Looks like we're going to get firsthand experience if we're not careful.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. Shall we go on to the next piece?
Sure.
Where am I? I see what we've done. My apologies. There was a stop the screen. And we're going to go back to Canada for a moment. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised to attempt to staunch the estimated $1 trillion of foreign investment, which has fled Canada over the last decade. We used to be a good place to invest, not so much now. And according to the July 24th Global News Post, under the title, Carney aims to reverse $1 trillion in foreign capital flight over 2 days in September. Kind of like Superman. But according to the story, Carney is presiding over what he's calling the Canadian Investment Summit. Something that's happening on September 1st and 2nd in Toronto. And he is inviting a whole bunch of international business leaders, CEOs, and institutional investors, and hoping to talk them into investing in Canada. Now, according to the Post, less than 2 months before the summit, it's not clear how many have accepted Carney's invitation. If Carney isn't publicizing people who've accepted his invitation, it's likely that not very many people have. Now, also, a spokesman for the International Trade Minister, Maninder Sidhu, told Global News in a statement that the government could not yet say how many attendees had confirmed. But he had insisted that interest is strong. And Sidhu himself has been actively engaging international investors. That to me means he's cold calling them. Richard, do you think Carney will pull a rabbit out of the hat in September?
He's got the WEF and all those other big organizations behind him. So
yeah, you think that some people will actually show up?
Oh yeah, they'll be paid to show up.
If only they'd pay me to show up. I'd be far cheaper than the head of the WEF.
Yeah.
But you don't think it'll do anything seriously? It'll just be another one of those sideshows.
Oh yeah, just pacify the people and see we're doing something. Yeah, we're doing something. Big deal.
Here is another sideshow. This, I think, was taken very seriously earlier in the week. And this is as outlined in a Today post on X under the title, Andrew Coyne column has sparked a patriotism clash amid U.S. tariff threats. Now, according to this post, everybody is objecting. The July 24th Globe and Mail editorial highlighting and disparaging conservative sympathy for U.S. President Donald Trump. And also the conservatives who support the upcoming Alberta independence referendum in October, which we've talked about. And this editorial disparaging conservatives has riled up real conservatives who've responded on X with disparaging comments of their own. For example, Rebel News owner Ezra Levant accused Coyne of hypocrisy in his July 24th, 2026 X post under the title of Liberals. Let me see if I can make that a little larger for me. He said that Liberals strip Sir John A. off our money. He says Liberals change anthem lyrics, tear down statues, say Canada committed genocide, give citizenship away to anyone, defund the military, join China's New World Order, destroy the oil industry, and yet conservatives have the patriotism problem.
Yeah.
Which I find pretty amusing. There is also Owlet editor Jonathan Kay, who noted that, well, he mostly agreed with Ezra Levant, and he posted this response. He said, 2021, waving a Canadian flag makes you a genocidal, unmarked graves denialist. 2022, waving a Canadian flag makes you a trucker convoy fascist coup plotter. And 2026, conservatives are bad, according to the Liberals, because they don't wave enough Canadian flags. Then everyone went to town. There's literally hundreds of comments disparaging Liberals, hundreds of comments from Liberals disparaging conservatives. Nobody's able to come together. Everybody hates each other. But perhaps the fairest comment is this one right here from a data scientist who notes that it's the most incredible wedge issue the Liberal Party could possibly ask for. Like and dislike of U.S. President Donald Trump almost perfectly splits the Liberals' main opposition, the Conservative Party, down the middle, while uniting literally everyone else in the country. Richard, what do you think about the diatribes this week?
Yeah. I don't know. The conservatives, to me, are just another small version of the Liberals.
I sort of think so too, but Ezra Levant and a guy who I perceive of as Mr. Liberal himself, Jonathan Kay, gave some pretty badass responses to the Andrew Coyne column.
Yeah. Of course, the Trump stuff that they talk about,
Yeah.
Trump is still very much up in front. But there's a group like the Democrats that are trying to make it look like he's not out in front.
He is moving towards an accounting in the November midterm elections.
Yeah.
And I would argue that based on what I've heard, there is still a 10% bias in 10% corruption that favors the Democratic Party in the U.S. Trump hasn't gotten rid of some of the innate corruption in the election process yet,
right?
Which means that the Republicans don't have to just win, but they have to win with an extra 10% in order to be given credit for their win.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see where it goes. But I mean, Trump is really doing quite well as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people say no, he's going to lose it all. But no.
I worry about that, but I'm willing to wait until November to find out the truth.
Exactly. We'll start to see things happen before, like in September, October, we're going to start to see how things are going to manifest themselves.
And as for the part about dismissing the Alberta referendum, Quebec has had the last 70 or 80 years promising to have a referendum next week unless the federal government gives them a better deal. And all the Liberals have signed on to that game.
Yeah.
So the people out west deserve their chance for a game as well.
Yep, of course. Yeah, we'll get ours.
Absolutely. A couple of more quick pieces before we finish up. Where are we? Mark Carney has outlined in the July 26th Global News Post. That's not it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. 25. I think that's the Global News Post. He has called 3 by-elections in BC, Ontario, and Quebec. Those by-elections will be held on October 31st, and everybody hopes that Carney gets trounced, but the numbers are such that maybe not. Certainly, he's the Conservatives are going to have trouble winning Quebec. They're going to have trouble winning British Columbia. They might have a half-ass chance in Ontario Beaches. But I would say that if I had to guess, the Liberals are going to win these 3 elections, and that's why Carney called it. Comments?
Yep. No, it's right. Well, I'm anxious to see how these things all work out. Right now, we need to get more of the stuff happening. More of the events, all these elections, they have to start going to the right side. And we need to get the people who are awake and understanding all this.
Yeah, but to pick and choose the side they're going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. We're supposed to sit back and relax during summer. It looks like some of the most adventurous times are happening while many of us are going to the beach.
Yeah, and I don't even talk politics at the beach.
I don't either. I look at the sun. I look at I read a book. I relax. Sometimes I just fall asleep.
Well, the other thing too is that most of the people around here all agree with me. So there's really nothing to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. One last story.
Okay.
A 28-item grocery order from Target, right there, that cost $64.50 only 6 years ago in 2020 is now $158.30 in 2026. Now, here's the graphic. The story itself is from the July 16th, 2026 Economic Collapse Post, a 28-item grocery order from Target that costs $64.50 in 2020 is now $158 and a bit in 2026. Check out the show notes tomorrow. I will post the article in the show notes. I would encourage you to read the article to find out which items were purchased in 2020 and how much they've gone up. Richard?
Yeah, I think it's, my case, because I get really good meat, really good breads and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't really notice it. I got
I don't. Yeah. I understand exactly what you're saying, because we're buying from different areas.
Yeah.
5 years ago, 6 years ago, I bought from the grocery store, and I was much less healthy than I am now.
Right.
But I buy from different places, and there was a big jump when we started buying good things.
Yep.
But let me pull up this list again. I see there Lay's potato chips. I see Cheerios. I see Kleenex. I see a whole bunch of stuff that Yoplait yogurt. I Skippy peanut butter. Skippy peanut butter, I'm told, is really crappy peanut butter.
Look at that. They got bananas in there. Those are the genetically modified bananas.
Those aren't the good ones. Those are the immaculate ones that don't have any food value.
And they don't even taste like bananas.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and of course they got the white bread, and they got those goldfish, which is crap, and they got Cheerios, which are crap, Lay's, which are crap. Their milk is pasteurized, so of course it's crap.
Yeah, but for a lot of people who are buying at the same location as they did 6 years ago, they notice this more than you and I would.
Yeah, they're noticing those prices are going up. I don't notice it today. When I went there, of course, I don't need to buy too much right now because it's summertime, and I get all the fresh stuff right off the land.
I agree. I think who's to say? But if starvation comes to the city, people like you and I living in the country, we will not starve. We may do okay.
Yes. Although the people from the city are going to try and get out here to steal our food. But
yeah, we shouldn't be telling them that they got to protect their food supply, or they're going to have to move out here. We shouldn't tell them that.
No, they're going to come out here anyways, and they're going to try and buy it. I noticed that the farmers markets are really busy these days.
Yeah, I can see that. I think people are buying less from the grocery stores.
Yep. Yeah.
One more piece tonight. This is yours. Cue it up.
What did I say? What did I put up there? I can't remember now.
I think it called it Judicial Racketeering, the court bond process.
Yeah, this was really something important that I thought people should be aware of. Now, of course, everything is based on the words from the United States, the Constitution, and stuff like that. It all applies here. So let's take a look at it.
There you go. I hope it's not me freezing up, but you seem to be jerky tonight.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It could be me. One of the side effects of both being in the country is that the internet sucks.
Okay.
Shall we play the piece? I take that to mean a yes. Here we go. The July 25th Mungo Minds on BitChute post. Judicial Racketeering, the court bond process. Here we go.
Imagine this. You get pulled over for a simple traffic stop. A ticket is placed in your hand, and you think it's just a fine. But behind the scenes, that ticket ignites a firestorm of profit, with bonds issued, securities traded, and billions flowing into hidden accounts. It all starts with the charge, which creates a claim, or lien, against your property. This lien is a commercial instrument under the Uniform Commercial Code. When an officer writes that ticket or a prosecutor files charges, they're presenting a debt obligation. You're the debtor, the state is the creditor, and your future value, your labor, your assets, is the collateral. Here's how it clicks into place. The system operates under statute law, where every statute is a bond or obligation, the violation of which constitutes dishonor. Why? Because the corporate state is composed of for-profit municipal corporations managing the assets of the U.S. corporation, which is you, the enfranchisement, and your productive capacity as a human, is pledged as security for the performance of debt obligations. Federal Reserve notes are obligations of the United States, and bonds like these are securities under Title 18 U.S.C. Section 8. Every birth certificate, court judgment, and financial instrument is held by the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation through their nominee shell, CED and Company. They coordinate with the Treasury and Fed to monetize your estate without your consent. Your case becomes a tradable asset, cleared as a security, and under UCC 9 Section 315, a perfected security interest sticks to the collateral, that being you. Then the clerk fires up the bonding engine. 3 key bonds are issued, straight from General Services Administration forms, turning your case into a financial powerhouse. First, the bid bond. This is the opening bid on your case's value. The prosecutor or state acts as the bidder, guaranteeing they'll pursue the contract, your conviction. Its purpose? To monetize your dishonor as an asset. If no one bids higher, the state wins, and your case advances. Next, the performance bond. Issued after the bid is awarded post-arraignment after your plea. This guarantees you'll perform the sentence. Valued at 100% of the contract price under the Miller Act, it ensures the system gets its pound of flesh. Finally, the payment bond. This one seals the deal on finances. It guarantees all payments, such as fines, restitution, court costs, are collected. If you're broke, no problem. Your bonded value covers it through seizure or imprisonment. Often bundled with the performance bond, it turns your assets into payouts for the corporate state. With bonds in hand, the real heist begins. Your case is converted into a security obligation of the United States. CD & Company holds legal title, monetizing it without disclosure. Funds flow through the Treasury, Fed, and private players. Clerks handle the paperwork, turning cases into Chris investments. The people are the collateral. State constitutions declare all power from us, with officials as mere trustees. But they've flipped it, using our estates to fuel their empire. Foreclosures, seizures, even your birth bond. It's all part of the grab. Search Burn, the corporate fiction on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, and X.
Wow. That is outstanding. Independently verifiable documentation, legislation. That's pretty amazing stuff.
It is. And this is what I've been trying to tell people for the last 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Those bonds that they put you under are basically they're tradable.
Huh.
Dun & Bradstreet that manages the bonds. So, and I've been telling people, if you know what the bond numbers are, then you can get yourself you can buy those bonds, and basically, if you're in court, you could be winning because they're going to guarantee that they're going to win. So the judges and the prosecutors and everybody else are going to be buying those bonds too, and that way that's how they make the big profits. You can do the same thing, and basically you're betting against yourself in a sense, but you're going to win because of the fact that you've invested in those bonds.
Right off the top of my head, that seems to go a long way towards explaining why rich people are hardly ever convicted.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Wow.
Why do you think Trump's a billionaire?
He's betted in favor of himself.
Well, he's been in court so many times that he always wins.
Yeah. Bloody amazing.
Yep.
Could we figure out a way to reproduce that document using Canadian data?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh wow.
So, anyways, it's there. It's almost like that QFS, quantum financial system.
We've never talked about that. You've been mentioning that to me almost since day one.
Yeah, it's almost as if that is part of the system. You know, who knows?
So many secrets we still have to figure out.
Oh yeah, we'll dig them up.
I think that's all for tonight. Quick query. What's on your plate for the next week?
Let's see. Tomorrow I'll do a long show in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Tuesday, I think I've got some stories already put together for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure yet. I'll have to check that out. But tomorrow morning, I'll be putting that together. It's like we've got a storm coming in here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the trees are really just going every which way here. Anyways, yeah. So tomorrow morning, I'll be back on at 7:30. And then Tuesday morning, 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to be doing another show until next Sunday.
Absolutely. My schedule is confusing again.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
So anyway, no problem. No problem. It looks like I've got 3 people viewing on Facebook.
Okay. That is outstanding. It looks like we got another 15 people on YouTube tonight. Every once in a while, we luck into an audience.
Yeah. Now that I'm supposedly back on Facebook, broadcasting live, people can start watching me more often. I'm going to make sure I do.
I agree. I think it's crazy. We have a good audience. After I put the show notes in, and we rebroadcast it and send out emails, we have several thousand people who look at our weekly shows now.
Mm-hmm.
So we are starting to grow, and we are getting a little bit of the word out, and we are doing reasonable stuff. But we were never our best at live audiences, and I deeply appreciate everybody watching tonight.
Yeah, and Thursday I'll be doing probably a 1-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday I'll be doing 8 stories again.
Very cool. You're always one of the hardest working people I know.
Yeah, I keep myself busy.
As for Freedom Forum, here we go. We normally record last week today every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on a variety of internet platforms, including the one you are watching. We republish next day with show notes on our Substack page, where we get a far better audience. And the Substack page is at chuckblack.substack.com. Now, most of our stories slide behind a paywall after a month online. So if you'd like to maintain access, the easiest thing to do is to sign up for a subscription. $20 Canadian a month, $160 per year. It entitles to access archive posts, anything over a month old. Plus, includes lots of in-depth, neat stuff not covered in our regular stories. Now, my name's Chuck Black. I directed the show using Streamlabs, which both Richard and I recommend, but only if you sign up using either Richard's or my link. And we do this because we get a little bonus out of this at the end of each month to help defray some of our costs. Now, the show notes will be up on Substack tomorrow, and we will be back next Sunday night for sure at 8 p.m. Eastern time with another episode of Last Week Today. I'm starting to miss roasting the press as well. I really think we got to get back to doing that show as well. I think that's all for tonight. Richard, did I miss anything?
No, you covered it. You did a great job.
Good night. Ride out the storm well. Enjoy your week, and don't get caught in any fires.
Yeah, okay. Well, we got rain coming, so I don't think I'll have fire problem.
That's good. Good night, Richard.